How do I
Sure.
pronounce it again, just to make sure?
It's Junaid like lemonade.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, just want to make sure.
All right, for sure. I'm starting here. Welcome back to another episode on Hacks and Hobbies. And today we're excited to delve into the power of networking and scaling businesses beyond industry boundaries with a guest who's mastered the art of growth through connections. Scott Joseph is the founder and CEO of the Mastermind group Me Plus Ultra. Under his leadership, his three Honda dealership and marketing agency, JNL Marketing, have experienced exponential growth. Scott also hosts the podcast Business Bourbon and Cigars, where he shares business insights with leaders looking to level up. Scott, it's an absolute pleasure. Scott, it's an absolute pleasure to bring you onto the podcast today.
Junaid, thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into your strategies, could you give our listeners a glimpse into your journey? What inspired you to create Me Plus Ultra, and how has your networking approach influenced your career?
Well, it's funny. The first business I ever started was J&L Marketing. You got to go all the way back to 91 with
Yeah,
that, and it's doing well today. But as you're scaling up, I'm involved. But obviously, as it scales, not doing the same type of work that I was doing early on. Because anytime you're early on, right, your sales, your marketing, your
yeah,
finance, you're all of it. And as people were hired on to start doing some of those roles, I started taking less and less of an impact. And I'd say about 20 years in, I promoted a person to president, and that pivot probably took a little longer than it should have, not because of him, but more because of me keeping one foot
hmm
in and one foot out, not wanting to give up total control.
yeah,
But as I was doing that, and with the dealerships that I own that you mentioned, I I've done a very good job elevating and delegating. And it got to a point, so I'm going to skip that part of the journey and get to the highlights of your question. And
yeah,
that is, I got to a point where I think a lot of entrepreneurs think is the end and the ultimate goal, which is how do I get my businesses to operate fully functionally and thrive without me having to do anything, which
hmm
is where the dealerships are and J&L marketing. So
yeah,
basically, all my income from those businesses became passive income for me. One of the things that really motivated me with Me Plus Ultra was what I started doing. Uh, Really, I started this mastermind group in reverse. Most
hmm
people start a mastermind group, then they start doing events. I started doing events at the time through my agency,
yeah,
J&L, and it was Business Bourbon and Cigars. And literally, this event started because of COVID. So COVID
mm
starts, we're all in lockdown mode, and at this point, I still got a foot in, foot out, all right, of J&L. Um, Frustrated with that part of the process, and I do this event, and where COVID comes in, we're locked down. People getting a little stir crazy. In his first month or two, you didn't. There were a lot of businesses that didn't know what to do,
yeah,
how to act. And so a friend of mine, Sandy Cerami, is up in Jersey, goes, we need to do a weekly Zoom meeting,
hmm
and let's bring on an attorney. Let's bring on some HR experts. Let's bring on some marketing experts, some sales experts, operations experts,
yeah,
um, CPAs, and let's start talking about what people are doing so people can come up with better plans and have contingency plans depending on their scenario. So we were doing some of those, and for the first month and a half, going great. And he calls me because I want you to picture yourself back in that COVID period, right? After a couple of months, after being told we were going to be locked down for 2 weeks,
hmm
people start getting a little stir crazy and wanting some type of all those Zoom social meetings started popping up. He
yeah,
goes, "Hey, let's hop on at happy hour on Friday." And he goes, "Let's get on a Zoom, just you and I. We could
hmm
take a bourbon, grab a cigar, and we'll brainstorm how to make these virtual meetings better."
yeah,
So I said, "Perfect." So we literally scheduled it like a meeting. We show up, we're comparing our bourbons and our cigars, and man, we took like 7, 8 pages of notes. We were on the call for 2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
and we had so much fun doing it. So eventually, we brought the guy that is our president for J&L onto it. And you know how if you're on a Zoom call with your phone, um, you've got the three screens, so we got the fourth one empty, right?
Yeah.
And Sandy goes, "Man, we need to invite one of our clients or prospects that's on these weekly calls
Yeah.
and see if they want to come in and do a bourbon and a bourbon and a cigar with us and brainstorm their own business. And we'll just
Yeah.
call it the fourth box." So we would do these private invites, and man, we had a wait list. So
Mm.
it was a combination of people liking the concept and enjoying it, but I think also wanting some social interaction and getting work done at the same time.
Yeah.
But these were people that were prospects. We couldn't get them off the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally 2, 3 hours, and we had only scheduled an hour of our time, but we're
Yeah.
all having a blast. Some incredible business strategies and ideas, breakthroughs really came out of those. And so finally, we're getting into October range, and Sandy's like, "I think people are over this virtual stuff. I think we can do it in person." So we had 13 people at the first Business Bourbon and Cigars leadership
Nice.
retreat. And we did bourbon tours because we brought them into Louisville. Um, did all these mastermind sessions. We did not want an event that was typical of the normal event. I
Yeah.
wanted an event that had a lot of value and truly honored the mastermind process, which is what we did there. So we
Mm-hmm.
started doing these events, um, and I really took great joy in that. I now looking back, and this answers, I'll finally get to your answer. It brings me incredible joy to unite people who have great vision, maybe a diverse skill set, and bringing them together and watching it open up new business opportunities
Yeah.
or coming up with some type of transformation or breakthrough, and where they can help each other. And I got great joy in that. And I literally was just near trying to brainstorm like how can I get out of doing the agency stuff and enjoy that as much as the dealerships because I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
And I thought, but I couldn't just do a ton of these events because it's just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the mastermind group and how I formed Me Plus Ultra all came about from that process. And it just really aligns with my purpose. And I think part of the problem why it took me so long to get there, I knew it was time for me to step aside and let Jamil be the president and just not have to answer to me with J&L and
Mm-hmm.
slow that part of it down.
Yeah.
But where was I going to go? And there was an ego part of me because that was my identity. And I think that's what slowed that process down for J&L, made it take longer, a few years longer than it should have. And it also it took me longer to figure out what my true purpose was at this stage of my life. And I hope that answers that question.
No, it does. I mean, it gives me a really good lay of the land of what was happening, what inspired that connection, and you're essentially facilitating a gathering of people where you're not just taking, you're delivering value. You're feeding
Yeah.
into others, and that's what people need. That they need somebody to give them permission to come and share and ask questions. I think a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we're always wondering, oh my God, is somebody giving me permission to do this? Like we're always questioning, hey, what am I doing? Is it valuable for somebody at all? And when you get invited, you're like, oh my God, you want me to be on your table? Holy smokes, I'm
Yeah.
there.
The biggest mistake I made all the way up until this
Mm-hmm.
was, especially with J&L where I was more involved. I mean, our tagline is move the crowd, crush the competition, count the money. And so, because that's what we would do for our clients, but we
Yeah.
had this mentality, a similar mentality. And that was, I felt like I didn't need any help.
Mm.
Networking wasn't as important to me unless it was going to serve me.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong approach. If I could do one thing over, I would have set up so many good, powerful strategic alliances. I would have forged so many good connections, whether they had a direct result and a good positive impact on me or not.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed here in the last 4 years, I've never been happier in my business life than what's going on right now. I feel like it's going to sound awful, but I thank God for this. I know it has nothing to do with me, but it's almost like everything I'm touching today,
Mm-hmm.
every person I'm around is like everything's just going the way it's supposed to go. It's like
Yeah.
everything is thriving. And I do believe it is because I come from a different place today than I was prior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about giving.
Yeah.
I literally, it's almost like the more I give to people, and I don't want to take this, I want to make sure I emphasize the right point here.
Yeah.
Not giving because I expect something in return, and literally just forgetting about that. But
Yeah.
it's almost like the more I give, the more it's just like it flows right back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
It's
I just love it.
it's the law of reciprocity, right?
Reciprocation. Yes.
Reciprocation,
Yes.
right? The more
Yeah.
you give, it's. I think I was reading a book where it says you've got to give what you want to receive. You want to receive love,
That's
you got
right.
to give love. You got to give it away,
That's
right?
right.
So you'd receive love. You want to give. You want somebody's respect. You got to give them respect. So it all
Yeah.
starts from us. It all starts from your point of view because everybody's waiting with a handout. But if you're handing it out, right, without expecting
Yeah.
anything back, it's comes back in twofold, threefold, tenfolds.
We had a new member literally um, just joined a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they're a software company.
Yeah.
They create websites along with other software, and they're a startup. So they're in the automotive space. And in that space, if you're going to sell to, say, a car dealer a new website, the challenge that they've got to overcome
Yeah.
is they may not be approved by the manufacturer, right?
Mm-hmm.
As an
Mm-hmm.
approved vendor.
Yeah.
And so the co-op money doesn't come, which is a lot more expensive to the end user, the dealer, and it's
Yeah.
harder to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in there. And I have another member who is a software and build a website and is funded by a group that no longer wants to be in that space.
Sure.
So they're looking to sell. So I introduced these two. I said, oh, wait a minute. I've got a guy because he's pre-approved through some of the OEMs. So the guy that the startup was in one of our hot seats, and one of his
Yeah.
challenges were, how do I get approved? Well, this company's already approved. So if you buy them, you
Spy-
naturally get that approval and then
Yeah.
work yours into is the 2.0 versions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a way to shortcut that process,
Yeah.
pick up business and grow and scale your business, as well
Exponentially.
through
Yeah.
acquisition. And you should hear these two. They're texting me, talking to me, man, and it's like, it just came to me. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to introduce you guys to this. And it's like, but the last few years I've been littered with stuff like this to where it's like, I'm just bringing, and I try to tell these people, this is when the group operates at its best.
Yeah.
Neither one of those people joined this group thinking, well, I need to find someone to buy my business, or I need to
Mm-hmm.
find a business within this group that I could buy. That
No.
wasn't even on the radar, and
No.
not on my radar, not on theirs. But when the synergy's right and everybody's helping and everybody's giving, these type of opportunities, they emerge. And that's what we
Yeah.
had going on. So love it.
I love that. Man, I love that. It almost seems like that the Me Plus Ultra created an exclusive, you create an exclusive community. The vision was, hey, how do we bring people together to have just conversations? Because what's really mind opening is that you've already solved all the problems for your business,
That's
right?
right.
For many
Yep.
years, you've got the companies
Not all
running.
of
You've
them.
got I mean, the majority of
Yeah,
it,
I
like
know
other people that,
it.
so you're basically, maybe 10 car lengths ahead of other people that are now coming in. Like, hey, how do I get to where you are? Like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. So now you're giving away the information that you already have that they haven't gotten to,
Yeah.
right? So that's what's
And
creating
well,
this.
what's beautiful about it is, I there are people in this group that are far more successful,
Mm-hmm.
right, than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're not, everyone in the group has some type of, I'll say, superpower, some level of
Yes.
expertise that um,
100%.
that I rely on a lot. And whether it's AI related or, it could be a variety of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, when with the beautiful is I'm just connecting these people. I'm proposing, like, for instance, when we do our leadership retreat, right?
Yeah.
We'll do mastermind sessions. We'll pick a topic that the group wants to really work on, and it could be
Mm-hmm.
client retention. Well, everybody's got their own set of circumstances or unique challenges or barriers that keep us from improving our client retention.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
allow everyone to work for about 20 minutes identifying what that mission, what that problem is, what are the top barriers, challenges, obstacles that are keeping us from improving, and why. And also then prioritize what needs to be worked on right now,
Mm-hmm.
and what is that one thing that would have the biggest impact on the rest of it, and more importantly, why. And then what's your action plan in a perfect world to fix that? And then we bring everybody together in tables of like 7 to 10 people,
Yeah.
and they start sharing their stuff and start, you know, I might go to you and I might be like, Junaid, let me ask you a question. Um, Here's my action plan to
Mm-hmm.
set this, podcast up the right way. I'm struggling with this, and this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've been there, done that. You don't want to try that angle.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do that, make sure you do this, and this. And
Yeah.
from that is new and better steps to your action, to your plan emerge.
Yeah.
Also, potential things you got to consider to develop contingencies to your plan. So in case this happens, I'm going to do this. So your goal's not different, right? But your
Yeah.
path might have to change to get there. And man, and then we have our table leaders get up at the end of these sessions. They're like 2.5 hour sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and they share from table to table what's going on. So you get to hear the whole room. And
Yeah.
then as we rotate, the people are always working with different people, because every mastermind session, you're working with a completely different person. And
Wow.
so now you get out to these networking and excursions, whether it's rare bourbon tastings or whatever we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no clicks. Everybody's been helping everybody all day.
Yeah. That's
And then we
amazing.
just took the same process virtually. So, I mean,
In
it's been
person.
an
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
experience.
Wow. That's really powerful because not only is you're not forming cliques, meaning you're enabling them to grow by helping and listening to everybody that's in the community. I love that.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, because of that, I think you've seen growth across the different industries and all the different entrepreneurs, business leader are leveraging this networking sessions that you've created to not only extend influence beyond their own industry, but also within their industry. What I want to ask is, what's been the key to making these valuable connections to foster that growth?
I want to make sure I fully understand. So rephrase that one. I want to make sure I understand.
What's Yeah, so what's the key to making these valuable connections that foster growth?
I think they have to be genuine. I
Mm-hmm.
think there has to be tremendous trust. No one, and whether someone's on virtually or we have a lot of big egos in the group, but everyone, whether we're doing something virtual or in person, they check them
Yeah.
at the door. And it's almost like, I got some guy in the group making over 50 million a year. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's a big time
Yeah.
successful business person,
Yeah.
and he's there to learn and help everybody else. And I got to tell you, he could have a very big ego, but man, he's so willing to help everyone and ask the right
Mm.
questions. So I think when there's a level of trust, it allows members to be a little more vulnerable, to explain what their real challenges are what's holding them back from leveling up. And some of it can be personal. And I think so. It has to start with trust, which opens up someone being comfortable, being more
Yeah.
vulnerable. And I think when someone's more vulnerable, you get to the real potential solutions. The creativity frees up for you. And I
100%.
think that's probably the biggest key. And then I said, there's no clicks by the time we get to the networking parts of our activities and parts of our sessions. Well, that goes back to the trust and vulnerable part of it as well. When you
Mm-hmm.
spend half the day helping someone solve their problems, there becomes a real connection there. You're not
Yeah.
someone trying to sell me. You're not selling. We're helping each other. We're helping
Mm-hmm.
each other level up, whether it's
Yeah.
personal or professional. And I think that makes it easier I think that's what helps, I guess, speed up that trust process.
No, I love that because um, checking that ego at the door, being
Oh, yeah.
vulnerable, creating that trust factor, building real connections. I think that's how you form really good friendship because outside of that event, I'm sure people are having even more conversations.
So I'm in the process of writing a book, and I think
Congratulations.
thank you. I think everybody that does a podcast has a book. So, so, so I'm in the
True.
process of that. But I got asked a pretty interesting question. Um, Guy helping me with it is in the group,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's blown away by some of the connections and the rapport everybody has with everybody. And he's been now to 3 events. He's been a member of the group for a little over a year,
Yeah.
and he fits right in and is really um, enjoying this whole process very much.
Yeah.
And he asked me, "So how long have you known this person and that person and this person and that person?" And I'm like, "Oh, 2 years, 3 years, a year,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
And he's blown away by it. And it made me realize, and I had to take, other than a handful of people that I've known for a while,
Mm-hmm.
some of my best friends in life I've just met within the last 2.5, 3 years.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's beyond the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I consider these people my closest friends. Like I could tell them anything. And um, if I got a business problem, any one of these people
Mm-hmm.
I could text and they'd fire back and reply to me. They're willing to help, vice versa. And it's vice
That's so
versa.
cool.
I mean, it's like it's not just business anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's become true friendships.
Yeah. Man, that's the power of connection that you're talking about, right? This is the power of
Yeah. It's
connection.
gotta be
You
real.
build those real connections.
Yeah.
Man, let's go back a little in the past and how you've managed to grow your dealerships fivefold and scale your marketing
Yep.
agency to 8 figures. What were some of
Yep.
the actionable steps that business owners can take today to replicate that kind of growth?
Well, I think early on you have to do a very good job listening to your clients. And a lot of us have businesses, or let's say a new product idea or a new
Mm-hmm.
process that we want to introduce to the market, and we get married to it. But the most successful companies, I think, take have a lot of different points within the journey that their client buys from them
Mm-hmm.
where they're constantly getting feedback. We
Yeah.
shouldn't always wait for our feedback after the deal is done. What's the feedback along the way? Because most companies will throw out a new product, a new service, whatever it might be. And within 6 months, if they do a great job listening to their clients, I think you'll find that product or process or service
Mm-hmm.
might have about 50% at best of what it originally started with because you're
Yeah.
you're pivoting quickly and making adjustments to make the client experience that much stronger. And so I can tell you at J&L, you asked how I did that. Um, I used to go out and back in the early days, in those early 90s, mid
Mm-hmm.
90s days, we're high impact sale event company. This is pre-email. So a lot of it was direct mail. And I would listen to my clients and we'd have incomplete successes. We did a great job of tracking the data,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to know why some people with very similar data in terms of turnout and stuff, type of clients we were bringing in. Why were some people just killing it and other people not?
Yeah.
And so I went on the road, and back then you couldn't just, you had to do things in person.
Yeah.
And I invested a small fortune interviewing uh, business owners, the people running their businesses, and some of their top salespeople. And what I was looking for is, what are some of the things all these people did? I wanted the people that were having the most success. What did they all do before, during, and after our campaigns
Yeah.
that I could identify and start teaching to everybody else? And so I was able to identify 7 things. We called it our sale back then, Atlas. There was no GPS back then either. So everything was a road atlas. So it was like our sales atlas.
Yeah.
Um, and so I started prepping our people on our clients on what they could do prior. And this had so many advantages
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm a wiser business person versus when I was starting out in my 20s. One, it was an automatic marketing play that I didn't even realize I created. So before I'd sell them, they'd have their event, and then I'd call them back
Yeah.
the next business day and try and resell them. Well, now what I've done is I've sold them, and unlike most businesses that I would compete against, a week prior, I'm having another conversation. I've already sold, but it's all about, how do I give you more value as my client, and how do I make sure you optimize this opportunity?
Yeah.
So now I'm giving, right? And now back then I'm giving for selfish reasons
Sure.
because I want their event to go well. All right. But I'm showing them exactly, these are the things you need to do before your event, during your event, and after your event to literally increase the total sales by 50%. So I'm doing that. I'm tracking the data. I'm feeding it back to them. There's just, and the support I would give, but all of these things that really set us apart from everyone came from a continuous feedback loop from our clients. And I think, and you can't just think it, you have to execute on it.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think as you start scaling, one of the biggest challenges that CEOs face is their role of visionary becomes bigger and bigger. And as they scale, other people are taking on more of the execution part of the role. And you run a risk as you grow, similar to the way I did 20 some odd years into the agency with J&L Marketing, where I wasn't in touch as much with my clients or what it would take from a logistical standpoint or our team's capacity to handle new ideas. And that could create friction internally. And so that's when you have to elevate and delegate people underneath you and give them true power, take the handcuffs off of them and let them do their thing. And I got to tell you, since I've done that here at J&L, it's almost like we're on whole nother growth mode.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I was starting to be the anchor, right? But early on, those are the things that I did. I had very set things. We're going to call customer here. We're getting feedback. We're going to call them here. We're getting feedback. We're going to call them here. We're getting feedback. But more importantly, we're then going to take that feedback and put it into our R&D. We're going to change use it to improve our processes and create new products. So
I love that. It's almost like when you're giving control to the people that you've delegated to, it's almost like it reminded me of the story where Mr. Ford, Henry Ford, right? He goes to the research team, like, hey, I need you guys to build a V8. They're like, it's impossible. We cannot make a V8. He keeps coming back like every month, like, hey, so how's that V8 coming along? It's like, we can't figure it out. Finally, they figured it out. They built that V8. And I'm like, holy smokes. It's his belief into them that, sure, you can figure it out. You guys are engineers.
That's
they
right.
were able to create that V8.
Yeah.
So when you give
the mind
them power,
is very powerful. That's
much.
exactly right.
Oh my God.
And a good leader can't buy into the limiting beliefs, right? We've always got to keep stressing and trying to grow the empowering belief system. So
that's so powerful. Yep. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I keep telling her all these ideas, and she's like, dude, how do you have so much time to do all of these things. I'm like, well, you just gotta do one at a time, or you just gotta keep your mind open. And she's like, but you have like 6 kids. I'm like, no, I just have 4 kids. But you know how they say, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person, because
That's true.
they'll get it
I
done
tell
so
Jamil, I
fast.
said, I don't know how he gets everything done at the agency because I can remember my last 5 years being involved.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, it's like a machine.
yeah,
So,
I love it. Now, networking. I want to talk about networking a little bit because it often is seen as a superficial thing, right? But you've managed to make it a cornerstone of your success. What
yeah,
strategies have you used to foster meaningful long-term business relationships?
I quit trying to meet people for my reasons.
Oh my God,
You know,
that's powerful. Yeah.
that is, and this goes right back to the giving. Um, the typical networking event.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going? Think about that. You're typically going because you want to meet people that will benefit you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think you go into a typical networking event not thinking, how can I help all these people here?
Yeah.
Uh, and what I mean by help in a way that doesn't financially benefit you.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody selling anything thinks that whatever they're selling will help someone, or they shouldn't be selling that. But that's not what I'm talking about. It's
Mm-hmm.
about being sincere, genuinely helping these people. And when
Yeah.
you're going to a networking event, if we're being honest with ourselves, that is not the first reason we're
People go
choosing to
there.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you go to these networking events and you're uncomfortable because deep down in your body, you know you're taking more than you're giving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or that's your
Yeah.
intent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so none of us are really built that way. And so we end up one of two things typically happens. We go to this thing and we run into someone, I might run into you, and because we know each other and we're uncomfortable with all these new people and we know what we're about to do and the real behind the scenes motivation as to why we're doing it. So
Yeah.
whether you and I just talk all night and we don't meet anybody, right?
Yeah.
Or I go around, I shake a bunch of hands, I get 20 to 30 business cards, and then nobody talks to each other again. All
Yep. We've
right.
seen that happen.
And so I think what makes networking easy and natural is when there is no motivation behind it. It's sincere. I'm here at this event or I'm here online in this hot seat session or listen to these expert speakers because one, where what I am going to take is not because I want to sell you,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to learn from you. So that's where I'm going to take. I'm going to take in the knowledge share. All
Yeah.
right. I am going to take that in that sense. And I need ideas because I've got issues with getting better talent, retaining clients, getting all the same stuff. My sales model's broken. I need a better marketing plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
What all these things are, right? And I think when I go into that, I'm going to get all that, and I'm going to help people with those things, and I'm going to give. And I find as I do that, the more I give, the more I actually enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
you'll find most people in this group, if I ask them why they stay, it's always the people.
It's all about the people. Yeah.
And that was not the reason they joined. They would have not have said, I'm joining it for the network out of the gate, because it's all about how do I level up my business? How do I grow? And we're going to share and help each other do that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing that, when it gets into networking parts, I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm not coming to you and talking to you now in this networking thing because I want something out of it. I generally like you. We've
Yeah.
been working on each other's problems now for a couple hours. And hopefully you have as much respect for me and appreciation for what I gave you as I do for what you gave me, right? And there's
Absolutely.
just this camaraderie
Yeah.
that I think happens. Therefore, the networking, I mean, I'm watching people network from all different walks of life in different industries.
Yeah.
I've watched new companies form because people are like, wait a minute, you do this and you do this. we should do this. And it's like these new business just expose themselves to it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an idea that came from our last group in the power of networking. I'll give you a clear example. This is an idea that came up of amongst 3 or 4 people in the group. And if this was 5 years ago, every single one of us would have said, man, somebody should invent this. But now, because of the network, we literally can say, well, heck, this idea is huge, but I'm not afraid of it because I know I can go to this person for this person for this, and this person for this. And literally, that just happened at our last. I can't give you this. This idea is,
Of course,
legitimately so
it's
big
fresh.
that it's, yeah. But it has the power to completely transform one of the oldest and most successful, biggest industries in this country or around the world. And it was just organic.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing forced. So the question to you, I think you got to be real.
You gotta be
I
real.
think you got to go in with you got to go about with a giving mindset.
Yeah.
And I think if you do that and you're sincere about it, networking's easy because for one, you enjoy it. You're not trying to take.
Mm-hmm.
You're naturally, it's easier to go give
Yes.
than it is to ask.
So much easier to give. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right on that one because it's so easy for me to go ask people, hey, come be a guest on the podcast, than to say,
Yes.
come be my client. I'm going to help you with this, right? It's so much harder because we're giving them permission to share their story, and that's why I love these conversations because I want to learn, right? I want to grow. I want to help grow, and I know the guests that I'm bringing, like for example, yourself. You've done so many amazing things that I can learn from you, and that's why we're here. And we create this environment to have a very trusting and very open conversation as well.
Yeah.
Now, question for you. I help people, set up their home studios so that they can look sharp, they can create podcasts, they can create marketing. If you were to optimize a workspace to enhance productivity and connection, what changes would you make for or recommend other entrepreneurs to make? And how do you believe that improving their environment can help entrepreneurs create even better networking opportunities?
All right. I want you to go back. You broke up on me just a little bit on that initial part of that question. So I missed the front part of it.
First part is, if you were to optimize your workspace to enhance productivity and connection, what changes would you make?
Are you trying to be podcast specific?
Could be podcast. It could be just entrepreneur, marketing, YouTube content, like anything that requires you to be in front of a camera, I guess.
Okay. For me, and not everybody can do this, especially if you're just starting off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to touch anything.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll put out more content if all I got to do is do the content. But if I got to walk through the setup, if I've got to then, all right, make sure this camera's right, so just for full transparency, by the way, what you did for me was you gave to me over and above asking me to be a guest on this podcast. A lot of people don't know this, but you and I had literally I think a 20-minute call. I couldn't get any of my equipment working.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that was helping me knew you. You hopped right on a call, and it was one wire that I had to plug in, and I was like, oh my God, I fixed everything. All right. But so now you're seeing my value system as to why I just need to set up. I need my lights set up. I had my assistant. I said, I want you taking a picture of the exact numbers on the back of these lights, because if someone moves it, I want to know exactly what I have to go back to.
Yeah.
The cameras don't move. So I think initially, how do I eliminate, this won't be for everybody, but how do I eliminate friction? Things that create friction in producing the content.
Yeah.
Right? That is priority number one for me.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
I don't know if that was what you were looking at.
No,
I don't know if that's
You're right on the money, because that's what I teach people. You've got to eliminate friction so that you can produce and stay in your zone of genius.
That's
Because
right.
what's happening is when you're context switching between technically solving some problem and then switching back to, okay, now I want to deliver some value. Well, guess what? Your brain takes a long while coming back to that stage. And
That's
every
right.
time we see a notification, see a distraction, takes us 23 minutes to get back into the state of mind that we were in before we
Great
saw
point.
that. It's insane. So that's exactly what I was looking for, and you've answered it beautifully, because that is what we all got to do. We got to reduce friction so that you can deliver high quality value to the people who are listening on the other side.
Yep.
Now, the next part of the question was, how do you believe improving an environment help entrepreneurs create better networking opportunities? So has this helped you network even better?
Um, yes and no. And the only reason I would say no is because of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
The networking, I mean, it's just a major part of my everyday life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, but if I go back in time
Mm-hmm.
before that was
Before all
like
of
the
this.
main focus of what I do,
Yeah.
then I would say it would help me a lot. And the reason being is I think the environment that I have set up, I can actually give you a story from this.
Oh, love it.
So
We love stories here.
when, so I'll take it out of the podcast, but to me, it still applies
Mm-hmm.
because I think it impacts you mentally and the person that you're potentially networking with.
Yeah.
As an up and coming agency, we had what I thought was a nice office, and it served our purpose. We outgrew it though, and so at this point now it's time to bring. Back then we had direct mail, so we in-housed our print. So I brought
Mm-hmm.
all this under one roof. We built this new office space, open environment. Really spent a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
making sure that it fit our culture and processes in terms of how we could be the most efficient or productive.
Yeah.
What I wasn't prepared for was what it did for us from a social proof thing in our community, from attracting local talent,
Mm.
um, and open doors for us uh, in terms of, oh, wow, look what they've got going on now. I think there's a presence. And by the way, it impacted our belief system
Yeah.
about what we were doing too. We were much more confident and much more excited trying to bring new talent into the company.
Mm-hmm.
Look where you get to work. Look
Yeah.
what happens. And I think from a podcast standpoint, the same can be said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I looked back at your studio. It's on brand. Boy, it looks great. And so the lighting's perfect. The up lighting, I'm looking at what you're doing here. And if you're trying to attract the right type of guest for a show, then first off, I think you have to have your house in order,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's an initial first judgment. There's a
Yeah.
perception right
There's
out of
that
the
first
gate.
impression.
And I
Yeah.
whether it's for your audience or future guest,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're trying to be a guest, I think the same
Same
thing
thing applies.
applies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're showing up in your best dress when you're
Yeah.
going to a meeting, when you're going to an
That's right.
event, when you're going to meet other people, because not only do you respect yourself, but you also respect the people that you're going to meet.
That's
You know,
right.
so it's a double-edged sword. It's a double thing, and being entrepreneurs in this time frame, 2024, 2025, this is what the world is going. This is where it's going to continue to go. I mean,
That's
we
right.
have countless a number of YouTube content makers creating content on why people over 40 should have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
There's so much wisdom that is not being recorded, that's not being kept, right? Because uh, there's a lot of people also passing away. But when you record this content, guess what? You're saving, you're creating a legacy for not yourself, but also now there's a terminology that they use at NASA, because at NASA a lot of people start retiring. So that brain, the majority of the, what's that? There's a word, I can't remember the word, but the brain power was going away because all the new people that are coming, they don't have that experience, carried over.
Yeah.
So super important. All right, we're gonna
Well,
take a quick
they're losing I guess we'll call it the brain capital,
the
right?
brain cap. That's it. That's it. They're losing the brain capital by not
That's
transferring, because it's not transferable, right? You can't transfer 20 years of experience over a 2 week period when they have that time to retire and whatnot. So super important to have these
yeah.
accounts remembered and recorded. All right, Scott, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, you'll share 3 hacks that our listeners can implement in their lives. Hey guys, welcome back. We've been talking with Scott Joseph here on the podcast, and am I having a lot of fun? This is absolutely a mind-blowing conversation. I learned so much about networking, all the misconceptions that I've had, because number one, I haven't been to a networking event in a while, but when I did go a while back, I was always in the mindset of giving by, walking around with the camera, capturing footage from people and asking them questions. Hey, what do you like about this event? What do you do? So basically getting to know them through one way or another, and it was a excellent experience. But Scott, our listeners love practical advice that they can put into action, and I know you're a
Yep.
man of action over here. Could you share 3 essential hacks that have helped you scale your businesses and network more effectively?
Okay. I'll go in reverse order.
All right.
So we'll end with the best one. All right. So I think the first thing you got to do is work on your business. I think a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time working in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy to get bogged down with that and have the excuse of, I can't leave the office, I can't leave the store, I can't, whatever it is our business is. I got to be there for this, this, and this, because you get so involved, bogged down with the day-to-day stuff. And the most profitable, the biggest breakthroughs, the most improvements that you're going to make, whether it's improving your efficiency and your productivity, increasing sales or your marketing, is when you invest the time to work on your business, right?
Yeah.
To work on your business leaves to number 2, give up control. You don't have to be everywhere. The only way you're going to have time to work on your business is if you start empowering members of your team to have more responsibility, because you need to be able to walk away from it, whether it's to travel with your family,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's just to spend a few hours a day working on new ideas, things that are going to bring more value to your clients, more value to your employees. You cannot do that without, what I mentioned earlier, elevating and delegating, right?
Yeah.
You got to elevate people up, and you got to give up that control. So, and I think the most important is grow your network. We've all
Mm-hmm.
heard, you know, your network equals your net worth. Um, I made a big mistake early in my professional life, isolating myself and thinking it was us versus everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have gotten to where I was, or probably 10 times higher, much quicker as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-oh.
hold on here. Can you hear me?
I could still hear you, yeah.
Hold on.
Camera overheating.
Yeah, but it is overheating, but I've got the lens opened up.
Okay, there we go. It's back on. Yeah.
Yeah, I turned it off and turned it on, back
Okay.
on. All right, so I I want to make sure you get a clean edit area. Um, I spent a lot of time isolating and trying to do everything on our own, and I could have gotten to where I wanted to be 10 times higher, much quicker, and more
Mm-hmm.
importantly, enjoyed the process so much more if I grew my network for who knows how many business opportunities I've actually missed out on.
Yeah.
Or would I end up in the space I'm at right now a lot sooner? Um, so I think
I love
those are
it.
the biggest, to me, those three things are most important.
So number one, work on your business instead of inside your business. And
That's
as
right.
somebody who's, let's say, a designer or a graphic person, they're used to working in the business all the time, right? Because they work for other
Yep.
companies. So it's harder to switch to that stage of being in the business development. And number two, you mentioned delegate. There we go. Delegate, and then number two is delegate, give up control, and number three, to grow your network. Scott, these are really powerful hacks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I cannot wait to implement number one because I need to work on the business and talk to more people. All right,
Well, I'll tell you what, I had an absolute pleasure being on the show. And hopefully your audience walks away with some stuff they can start working on right away.
100%. Before we jump off, we have quick 6 questions that we're going to go through, and then we can
Oh, yeah.
wrap it up. Awesome.
All right. So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If my camera, you can still hear me. I don't know why it's hotter than hell in my office right now. I think they
Yeah, I
switched
can
over
see
to
the
heat.
sweat on your forehead coming up. Okay, we need to have some kind of ventilation because these cameras do require
Yeah.
a
Well,
little
I've
better
got a
cooling.
fan underneath me, but it's not.
It's not doing the job. Well, there are these fans. I'm gonna pause.
Away.
All right, question number 1. Let's go to that screen. What is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
I wish I did a better job learning how to play musical instruments. So I was very much involved in sports, and besides golf, once you get, to a certain age,
Yeah.
that doesn't serve you too well.
All right, next question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
Professional baseball player.
I love it. Baseball. I used to play cricket and soccer, but I didn't want to play them professionally because I sucked at those games.
Yeah.
All right, next up. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, I like comedies. Gosh, I like so many things. I like mob movies. I like
Mm-hmm.
mob series,
Yeah.
but I like comedies. The one comedy I probably watched more than any other is probably Wedding Crashers.
That was a really good movie. That was a really
Yeah.
good one for sure. All right, next up. What is a movie or what movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
I I would choose Avengers and I'd be Iron Man.
There we go. Hello. What's up?
Yeah.
Perfect answer. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
That takes me to, who is your favorite superhero? I think we all know the answer.
Well, I think I have to go Iron Man only
Yeah.
because, as growing up, he was probably in my top five, but
Yeah.
these movies, I love how they all tie together
Mm-hmm.
they tell that story and just, I don't know. There's something about the way he does that character. I just loved it.
He did. He absolutely did. And he was not the first pick by the
I
producers,
know.
by the way.
Yeah.
But John Favreau was like, nope, he is the perfect character for this movie. And he actually went indie on the first movie. Like, he paid everything out of his pocket. It's pretty funny.
Wow.
Our
Well,
last
it worked out
question.
well.
It did. It absolutely did. I listened to a story where Tony Stark was answering, and somebody had asked him, "Hey, he was in London, and there was a kids show, and the kids were all asking these questions, 10-year-old kids, like, have you ever pretended to be Iron Man at home?" And he's like, before he went to the audition, he looked in the mirror, and he's like, I am Tony Stark. Like, he methoded it the entire audition, and they
Yeah.
believed him. They're like, oh my God, you are Tony Stark. All right,
Yeah.
last
Mhm. If you look at his prior movies and the way, I mean, it wasn't a stretch for, I don't think it was that big of a stretch. I mean, it was a
No,
great, just talk about getting the right butt in the right seat, right? In business, same thing
exactly.
there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
Monopoly.
Love it. Powerful, powerful game, man. Powerful, powerful
Yeah.
game. Well, Scott, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I learned a lot. I truly, truly appreciate you coming on and sharing so much value with us on the podcast.
I appreciate it, man. I really, it's been a fun conversation. Uh, Hopefully I gave everybody in your audience enough to go back with and start integrating some of it. So
100%. How can our
yeah.
audience connect with you and learn more about Me Plus Ultra and other ventures of yours?
Yeah, they can go to meplusultra.com. Um, just about everything on anything related to whether it's the podcast, Business Bourbon Cigars, or even our leadership retreats or membership. Everything's on there. We got a lot of good
Perfect.
blogs, ebooks they can help right away that cost them nothing. We don't even ask for an email.
Nice.
So there's some good ebooks they can download right away from that. And then I'm all over social media. So LinkedIn is probably one of the
Number one
easiest
place.
way.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook.
All
So
right. Perfect. I'll be sure to
yeah,
include all of those links in the show notes so then they can connect with
beautiful.
you and learn more about Me Plus Ultra.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. And for our listeners, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Hacks and Hobbies. Remember, the power of your network can help you reach new heights. Stay connected, stay growing, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.